Hey, time for another wild ride. They say time heals all wounds, but in this case, it also handed out some harsh truths. Today, you'll hear about one man who learned the painful way that time doesn't just mend. It reveals exactly who was holding everyone back. Cheating wife turned my own kids and family against me to dodge a divorce. I still went through with it, and now everyone hates me. I'm a 47-year-old guy, and I was married to Jackie, also 47, for 19 years. We have 2 daughters, Millie 16 and Sasha 13. The early parenting years were rough. Money was tight, and we both worked full-time. We fought a lot over who was putting in more effort. But when we made it through those years, I thought we were unbreakable. If we could survive that, the road ahead seemed smooth. Turns out, fate had a very different plan. 3 years ago, everything flipped upside down. That year had already been brutal. In October, my dad passed away suddenly, and I took it hard. My mom, his wife of 55 years, was hit the hardest. We couldn't stay long to help her through it. We had to return to work. We offered for her to come stay with us, but she refused, saying she felt his presence in their home. It was awful knowing she was grieving alone. My daughter saw how down I was, and suggested we spend the holidays with my mom. Jackie agreed at first, saying it would be great for the girls and for my mom. I was grateful, until a week before Christmas, she suddenly changed her mind. She announced she wanted to spend the holidays with her friends instead. Not just a night out, but the entire season. It felt like a slap. I asked what had changed, and she said her friends had planned a resort trip. Days filled with wine and conversation. Everyone in her circle was skipping family time this year to be together. When I pushed for a better explanation, she blew up, saying she'd given 20 years to this family, and now needed something for herself. I told her I wasn't trying to stop her, just wanted to understand what had changed so suddenly. Her voice was cold, distant. This didn't sound like my wife. She'd never been one to spend the holidays away from family, especially our kids. I tried several times to talk it through, even asked if it was about my mom, maybe some hidden tension, but Jackie had always been civil with her. She brushed it off and stood firm. She was going, whether I liked it or not. Eventually, I even offered to go with her instead. I said I'd scrap my plans and stay back with her. Yes, stupid in hindsight. After my dad's death, I realized how much a partner matters in old age, so I wanted to spend time together. But she turned me down, saying she needed space and alone time. The day we were flying out to my mom's, I was packing and couldn't find my hoodie. I remembered Jackie had borrowed it, so I went to her side of the closet. While looking, I noticed a shopping bag tucked under a pile of clothes. Not casually placed, but deliberately hidden. Inside was brand new lingerie, tags still on thongs of all things. Not one set, but 3 or 4. Jackie had worn a thong exactly once in 19 years. The receipt was dated 3 days earlier. I froze. Normally, she showed me her new clothes or asked my opinion. Why hide this? We hadn't been intimate for over a week, too busy arguing about the trip. I wanted to believe maybe it was a gag gift for friends, but deep down, I knew it wasn't for me. I thought about confronting her, but decided not to ruin the girls' holiday. I put everything back and left with them for my mom's. She was thrilled to see us, especially her grandkids, but my mind was elsewhere. Jackie barely contacted us. One short call to the girls on Christmas Eve, and a single Merry Christmas text to me. I thought about flying back to confront her, but didn't. When we got home after the holidays, Jackie was suddenly the perfect wife. She picked us up from the airport, cooked my favorite meals, showered me with affection, and even tried to initiate sex that night. But I wasn't biting. The next day while she was at work, I checked again, found the thongs tucked away, tags gone, freshly washed. I had my answer. That night, I casually asked how her trip went. She gave vague answers, said she and her girlfriends lounged around, ate takeout, watched old movies. I asked for pictures. She claimed they didn't take any. This from the woman who photographs every coffee cup and plate of food. She quickly added that maybe a friend had some but hadn't sent them yet. I told her plainly, I know you're lying. I talked to your friends. You weren't with them. She stumbled, tried swapping names. Oh, maybe you called it X, but I was with Y. I just stared until she broke down crying and admitted she'd spent the holidays with a man. claimed it was just a paid thing. No strings, a bucket list fling before turning 50. She apologized over and over. I walked out, went to my best friend. He's in the legal field. And by the next day I had a divorce lawyer. I packed what I could and told her I was filing. She begged me to think about what I'd say to the girls. I told her, "That's your problem." I moved into my friend's converted garage. Looking back, my biggest mistake was not talking to my daughters first. Jackie spun the story perfectly. Told them I'd walked out because I was mad she spent Christmas with friends, painted me as controlling and overreacting. Millie called me furious, saying I was ruining the family. I didn't want to dump the ugly truth on them. They were too young. But Jackie wouldn't tell them, so I told Millie her mom had broken our marriage trust, without details. Jackie kept twisting it, claiming I'd overblown her spending time with a male friend from her school group. I had no proof of cheating, just my word. When she was served divorce papers, she called my mom before I could, feeding her a version of events. My mom rang me in tears. I had to explain everything. She was devastated but warned me. Jackie had the girls wrapped around her finger. The divorce was brutal. Jackie never admitted to cheating, played the victim, said I was unstable and distant, claimed I'd abandoned the family. In our no-fault state, her cheating meant nothing in court. She cried in mediation, saying she worried about the girls growing up without me. Then walked away with the house, custody, half my savings and half my retirement. The girls didn't want to see me. I kept calling and texting, but got voicemail or cold replies. Birthdays, Father's Days, holidays. I waited for a message that never came. I sank into a numb routine, work, home, sleep. Ate badly, lost 20 pounds, nearly fell into depression if not for my friend dragging me out. Whenever I tried calling the girls, I'd get either silence or angry messages telling me I'd ruined their childhood. At first I'd cry. Then, slowly, the sadness turned into anger. And that gave me the push to focus on myself again. I started eating right, grooming, getting back in shape. At work, there was Emma, 36, from another team, desk diagonally across from mine. We weren't close before, but after the divorce, I noticed she was always kind, always around. We started chatting, taking breaks together, venting about work. I learned she was a single mom to a 3-year-old. Her husband had cheated when she was pregnant, and she'd kicked him out. Our stories ran parallel. On my birthday, while I sat alone answering coworker emails, Emma walked up and said, "Want to grab dinner tonight? You look like you could use a night out." I'm still not sure why I said yes so quickly. Maybe I was just worn down from the loneliness. Emma brought her little girl along. She was bright, bubbly, and reminded me so much of my own daughters at that age. We sat talking for hours, and she told me straight out that she liked me. She said she thought I was kind, gentle, and that she respected me for not crawling back to my ex when everyone else had turned against me. I was caught off guard by how direct she was, so I asked how she'd been so confident about asking me out. She just smiled and said, "I liked you and decided to take my shot. Worst thing you could have said was no. Not a big deal. I'm a grown woman. I can handle rejection." That made me laugh out loud. Before long, she invited me to brunch at her parents' place. They were incredibly warm and welcoming. Emma and I have been seeing each other for a few months now, keeping things low-key, moving slowly. I love spending time with her daughter. I even take her to the lake where I used to bring my girls when they were small. Every time Emma sees me with her little one, she asks if I miss my own daughters. It always gets to me. I still don't know how to win them back. Maybe when they're older, I'll tell them the truth. I don't know if they'll believe me, but I hope the day will come when they hug me and call me dad again. I send them messages here and there, just to remind them I'm still here. Never pushing, just waiting. Maybe someday they'll start asking questions. Maybe one day, they'll see through the lies. Edit. My daughters are now 16 and 13. When the divorce happened, they were 13 and 10. Too young to fully understand. I don't hold anything against them, and I still hope they'll come around. And yes, I pay child support and have money saved for their college. That was part of the divorce agreement, and I don't regret it for a second. They'll always be my babies, and I'd do anything for them. Losing my dad, trying to be there for my mom, and then having my wife pull what she did. That's enough to break anyone. The way she bailed at the last minute, and then lied about it wasn't just some harmless me-time choice. She made sure I was out of town for a reason. Update 1. It's been a full year since I shared my story, and a lot has happened. Emma and I grew closer. We still didn't move in together, but she was basically a regular at my place. Our weekends were spent visiting parks and lakes with her daughter. Then my mom's health took a turn. Emma and I visited her often, and eventually got her into a care facility because she couldn't live alone anymore. Mom was so happy to meet Emma, relieved I had someone to share life with. But just a week later, the hospital called. Mom had passed peacefully in her sleep. She had been my anchor after Dad died, and even after everything with Jackie, she'd always left the door open for my daughters, sending them cards and calling on holidays, even when they didn't respond. It crushed me to know they'd never have that chance again. I drove to my old house because I couldn't bring myself to tell my daughters over the phone. Sasha answered the door. I asked where her sister and mom were, but she just frowned and said, "Why are you here?" No greeting. No warmth. Already heartbroken, I told her quietly, "Your grandma passed away last night. I wanted to tell you in person." Tears rolled down my face. It was the first time I'd cried since hearing the news. She stood there silent. I walked away, got in my car, and broke down for 5 solid minutes before driving off. Jackie later called, but I didn't pick up. She texted, asking for funeral details so she and the girls could attend. I told her I'd update her once things were arranged. When I got home, Emma was packing my things. She'd left her daughter with her parents so she could go with me. I told her to just come for the funeral, but she insisted on being there from the start. That night, we flew out. She helped me organize everything and I sent the funeral info to everyone, including Jackie. The day of the service, I heard the door open and braced myself for cold stares or quick, awkward greetings. Instead, both my girls ran straight into my arms. We hugged, cried, and they kept saying they were sorry. Then Jackie came forward and said, "I'm sorry too." For the first time in years, she actually looked human. The service was beautiful. Friends, neighbors, and relatives came to pay respects. Millie and Sasha stayed with me the whole time. Sasha even slipped her hand into mine during the eulogy, just like she did when she was little and thought I was sad. Emma gave me space to be with them. Afterward, the girls helped clean up and put away food neighbors had brought. Then they asked if they could spend a few days with me at my family home. I introduced them to Emma. It was awkward but fine. Emma left that evening to give us time alone. Jackie went home, leaving the girls with me. On the second day, we went to the farm and watched the sunset. It was so peaceful I almost asked them the hard questions. Why they hated me, if they knew the truth about the divorce, but I didn't want to ruin the moment. That night over dinner, Sasha said she felt genuinely happy for the first time in a long while. Both girls apologized, saying they'd been mean to me because they didn't know what else to do. They explained Jackie told them I was breaking up the family over petty reasons, and if they pushed me away, I'd come running back to stop the divorce. They thought they were helping keep the family together. I asked if they knew the real reason. We both knew they'd figured it out eventually, but they said they still hated the idea of us being apart, so they sided with their mom. Years of hurt condensed into those few minutes. Then they said, "Please forgive Mom. She made a mistake, but she really did try to save the family. We hurt you only because we didn't want to lose our home." How could I not forgive them? We hugged, cried, and reminisced about the old days. They even said they liked Emma and were glad I'd moved on. They wanted to know more about her, so I told them how she'd been there when I was at rock bottom, and about her daughter. They were excited to meet her. Back in the city a week later, Sasha called asking if I could pick them up for the weekend. When I arrived, Jackie invited me in, but I politely declined. Then she stood beside me and quietly said, "I'm sorry for everything. I thought if I made you jealous, you'd fight for me. I never meant for it to go this far." She admitted she'd convinced herself I'd come running back if she pushed me hard enough, but instead she drove me away and took the girls with her, ruining their childhood in the process. I just stood there. There was nothing left to say. I'd already moved on, healed, and didn't feel anything, not even anger. When I brought the girls home, Emma was nervous, worried about stepping on toes. But she greeted them warmly, and her daughter peeked out shyly from behind her leg. Within an hour, the three of them were on the floor coloring, laughing, and sharing snacks. Emma watched from the doorway and whispered, "You've got good girls. Your ex raised them well." Over the weeks, the girls visited more often, sometimes bringing old photo albums to flip through, sometimes helping Emma's daughter build blanket forts. One evening, as I walked them to their car, Millie said, "I wish we hadn't wasted so much time." Sasha nodded. "We can't get it back, but we can be here now." It's bittersweet. Our reconciliation came at the cost of losing my mom. Maybe this was her final gift, bringing us back together when we thought it was impossible. Emma held my hand that night and said, "She'd be proud of you." I believe she's right. Now Emma's moving in next week. I might even start ring shopping soon. And that hug at the funeral? That was the moment they finally saw past the lies. It's sad it took losing my mom for that to happen, but I think she played a part in bringing us together. Emma's handled it all with patience and grace, and my girls are actually bonding with her and her daughter. Something Jackie can't twist or undo. At some point, you have to stop calling it a rough patch and admit the real problem was the person all along.